Hello, welcome and good afternoon. You're joining us live here at Tom's Tourney 2017, the 25th Tom's Tourney. Live coverage this game of some women's action, our first women's game of the day on the stream, where we have Yaka from France against the Italian women's national team. My name is Benjamin Rees. I'm going to be here with you for the next hour and for all the games today, bringing you live coverage of this wonderful tournament in the beautiful surroundings of Bruges in Belgium. It is an absolute pleasure to be here, as always. And the sun is now coming out through the clouds. It's turned into a glorious day here in Belgium. The wind has begun to pick up a bit, though. It is a bit windier than it was earlier if you were following some of the games we streamed earlier in the day. A bit blowy, so maybe it'll be interesting to see how the throwers can adapt to these blustery conditions. But with the quality of players on show here, I've no doubt that we're in for another absolute classic here, as we have had some fantastic games already today here on the live stream from Tom's Tourney. So we've got Yaka from France in the red. They're starting on the left side of your screen. The Italians are wearing white with blue shorts. They'll be starting on the right-hand side of your screen. Just trying to find out who'll be starting the games on offense and defense. Not very long until the game starts now. Both teams trying to sight themselves up before the game starts. We'll have the Italians starting out on defense, pulling to Yaka. See the French team making their final preparations there. Emergency headband drafted in. Seems like a good idea. It's a bit blowy. Definitely want to keep that hair out of your face. I can sympathise with that. And we are good to go. Italian starting off with a backhand pull, going towards this near sideline and will just tail out of bounds, probably half a metre, no more than that. Yaka will start the game from the brick mark, coming out in a horizontal set here. Three handlers at the back, spread wide across the back. That far side handler perhaps closer than we normally would see. And then four across the front. It just seems like a zonal look here to start from the Italians. We saw another Italian team in Discabolo start that, go with a similar look early on. And it's proved dividends, a quick turnover already. Perhaps seems like the guy's not quite on the receiver and the thrower not quite on the same page there. Italy will pick up number 10. It's going to start the play, take it back to, seems to like it rolled out of bounds, then came back in bounds. So checking that it's back in from that point where it first rolled out. Nice inside break to that cutter coming off the front of the stack for the reset. Number 5 has now on this far sideline. Gets upfield to 37. Just going to shoot deep to the end zone, going down the sideline. Tight pressure, but number 29 makes the grab for the goal. The Italians have got a break to start this game. Exactly what they dreamed up. Not quite what Yaka had in mind, but there's plenty of time still left in this game yet. The Italian national side would lead this game 1-0. Obviously not the start that Yaka had wanted, but it's still very early doors. We've still got nearly 50 minutes left in this game. Games today are 50 minutes. When the time runs out, you play the end of the point. If the point is drawn, if the game is drawn at that point, then you will then play an extra point in sudden death. Otherwise, the game will finish at that point. You don't have the same usual +1 or +2 cap rules that you do get in other tournaments here. But the advantage of that means that we can get plenty of free-spin games today. This is the 4th game we're streaming already today, so plenty of wonderful action coming to you today from the beautiful surroundings of Bruges for Tom's Tourney. And the Italians getting ready to pull again. Just going to go from that far sideline, the lefty backhand, going to drift in towards the middle of the pitch, just beyond the brick mark. Actually, probably about halfway between the brick mark and Yaka's defending end zone. Again, another zonal look here. So they've got 3 at the front. Got number 29 roaming the back, hopefully using the height to bring down any deep shots. A little scuba over the top, nice find. I love that look. Let's have a little sultry scuba. Just now in the middle. Thinks about the scuba again. Swings it off, back into the middle. 18's got the disc again, doing a lot of blow work early on, trying to get that jailbreak going now. Number 10 with it. They've got one-on-one. That dump's going to go back to the 52, but it's just slightly overthrown. I think she's expecting a bit more inside, and it went more outside. So after transitioning, well, looked like the start of a transition into a person set. In the end, it never comes to fruition. French doing the work for them, generating the turnover. Number 30 now with the disc. It's Ricci. 29 with it now. He's going to centre it around the middle from that no pivot backhand. Nice forehand inside, using that lefty to their advantage. He's going to reset back to number 30. It's Ricci with the disc. Surveys our upfield options. Nice little dump cut, getting free again in the handler set. The swing is just out of bounds. I think it's the number 2 shirt, the cutter there, just not quite on the same page. Maybe cutting a bit late or the throw a bit too far. The Italians look like the transition back into that zone set. And they get the block immediately. Number 18 stealing through. Sensing exactly what the people wanted. Almost a clairvoyant knowledge of what the French team wanted there. Getting it back quickly and now doing a little bit of give-go outside the end zone. Creating that margin. And number 29 has got a second goal of the game already. Another break for the Italians. Dream start for the ladies, for the women in white. But as for Yaka, this is obviously not what they had planned. Got to keep your heads up at this point, but at the moment it's Italy 2 and to Yaka 0. Another look at that there. Just sensing that they wanted the quick offload, get it off that sideline. Stealing through for the D. And then nice little patient work around the handler set until that cutter came free towards that far sideline. Number 29 again with their second goal of the game already. 2-0 to Italy. We need to see if Yaka choose to change things up. He'll go with the same sets they've gone before. Coming out in that zone has proved like to be a good decision to start with for the Italians. Not letting the French side get into the rhythm they probably might have been comfortable with a person defence. Seems like it's a very smart move to me. Ball's going to go up from the Italians. Choosing to let the disc hit the ground, make sure they don't drop it rather than try and catch it and get moving quickly. And the Italians have set that zone again. Bring a lot of handlers back, but there's no deep space to stretch it here. Against Peretz to work through those short passes so they can try and find an incisive opening, but number 87 through is leaked into the backfield. See if they can find her. But apparently not, just another short turnover in the handler set. I say the cutter one-on-one, but she's not quite in the end zone. Lots of players all making the same cut. Stall count getting high, no reset option. Chooses to go for the blade around, and there's enough float on it for the receiver to reel it in. It's another break for Italy. 3-0 now. This is getting away from the French side in a hurry. It wasn't the cleanest of end zone sets there from the Italians, but they did what they needed to do. The nice little leading throw to space with the defender sitting underneath. If you can just float it beyond them and then sit it and let the receiver go and get it with the defender at their back, that's what you want. And it was executed well there, even if it perhaps wasn't the most fluid end zone offense I've ever seen. There we are. Nice grab as well, actually. Going up high, getting it extended with that right hand. It's nicely done. Yaka have probably wisely here called a timeout. We spoke earlier about how with only one timeout per team per game, you perhaps don't want to waste it, but being broken 3 times to start the game is clearly not what you had. It's clearly not what you had in mind. And as a team, you need to know what you can do to change it. I think I'd like to see them shoot deep a bit more. So far, their turnovers seem to come from resets or from shorter passes. And while your deep passes might not be completed, at the very most, you're gaining a lot of field position and making the Italians have to work the full length of the pitch. And they have had receivers free, but perhaps they're not quite trusting their throws to get it there, especially with the slightly unpredictable blustery wind. Yaka march up to the line. They've got their 7 on, ready to play some more offence. The Italians all ready to pull and play some more defence. I'd imagine for them there's no reason to change out of this zone. It's been so effective for them already. I'd be very surprised if they didn't stick with that here. So frustrating and just jamming all the options that the French side want. Force them to take so many short passes. But in this OE wind, it's going to make turnovers nigh on inevitable. Pull will come from this far sideline with the wind slightly blowing towards the cameras, I think is a good call. You can see the disc come towards the middle of the field. Yaka will try and move it quickly, gaining a few yards there. Swung towards this sideline. Number 93 has it now. Just get it back inside and we'll just reset it towards this sideline. Nice break off the sideline though. And there the huck goes. It's a bit of a height mismatch, but the receiver can just about get, no! So close, 1, 2, maybe three attempts at getting it. But the defender had good position. That's why you have these tall, rangy, athletic defenders deep. Even if they can't necessarily get the block on it, you're going to make the catch so difficult for the intended receiver. And there, just a little case of just the pressure telling. Going to get a second look at this now. The defender might have got a fingertip or two to it. Maybe that's why it wasn't quite where the cutter thought it was going to go. But we did say about how Yaka should probably try and strike deep to at least make them think that's coming, and it very nearly came off. But the Italians are racing away here on this D-line offense, looking for the up line there, jamming into that tight window, and again jamming in the jam hole right down that sideline. Another backhand down the sideline. The Italians are racing away. They look in total control here. And the loud screams of Italia coming from the players on the sidelines as well. They should be. They are in at the absolute ascendancy here. 4-0 now to the Italian side. All credit to Yaka here though. Their heads don't seem to have dropped. They're already on the line ready to go. You can tell that they're not happy with how this is going and they really want this now. I don't think the deep shot was a bad option, but perhaps not necessarily the matchup you wanted with that. Maybe you can pick one of your taller players to go deep there. Give yourself a slightly better chance of pulling that in. This ball's going to land just sort of the brick mark and skid just beyond it. 18, that central hand is going to pick it up again. Just gone towards this near sideline. Gets the little flip offload. Doesn't like what she sees downfield. And this is nice. This is some good swinging and continuation. Losing yards there, but keeping the disc moving, which is good. Quite physical marking there, trying to squeeze it down the sideline, keeping her feet in bounds well. Thinks about that around backhand, and we'll get it a later attempt with the defence is sagged off. And again, happy to sneak it down this sideline. I think it's a good move if they can push it back, and then when the Italians clamp up again, just gain a couple of extra yards down the sideline. It might take a while, and it might be a bit grinding, but it will be effective. And then a nice swing off into space, and they can then look to hit back towards the sideline. There's no continuation downfield though, and they keep getting stuck on the sideline near the handler set. Nice reset though off the line. 23's got it now. She'll push it back. If I'm Yaka, I want to try and push it towards that far sideline. It's a lovely threaded inside-out forehand through that cup. Yaka can start moving a bit more quickly now. He's got the disc in the centre here, directing traffic downfield. Made it beyond halfway. Good body position there by 18. Not giving the defender a look at that. Trying to squeeze it through, but perhaps the window closed more rapidly than she'd wanted. Look at it here, trying to squeeze that forehand through. She managed it earlier, but that's couldn't do it that second attempt. And the puck's gone deep. That might be too far. Nicely reeled in, well read. Just had a lovely little throw, and then popping into the end zone for another Italian break. They are absolutely on fire here. They're completely dominating the French side. They are all over them. 5-0 now. It's just got out of reach in a hurry. But with Yaka having already used their timeout, normally in this situation you definitely recommend using one, but they've got nothing, but they don't have one to use. They're going to have to show incredible mental fortitude here to try and come through. Going to get another look at that. Nice deep shot, hit to space. Five is able to run it down fairly comfortably, and with the defender on the continuation cutter's back, able to just flip a little backhand into the end zone for the score. It's nicely done there. Comfortable clap catch in the end. Good hustle by the Yaka players to continue following that cut, even if perhaps they were behind. Put a little pressure, maybe the sound of footsteps can put the player off. Maybe the throw's a bit awry. You can steal in for a D. So good pressure and good hustle by continuing to stay on their shoulder and in their pocket. Even if at that point it hasn't quite come off, it certainly will do later in the game and in future games this weekend. Yaka needs to move the disc quickly and get it off this sideline, I would suggest. It's a foul on the mark. The defender just a little bit eager to chase that down. Can't slow down quickly enough. Getting that throw just slightly out of reach. Just nothing seems to be quite sticking for Yaka. But to be all credit to the Italians, so far they have been ruthless in A, generating these turns, and B, in punching them in when they get them. And they're going to do it again. Right there, 29. That's the third goal of this game. The Italians are pulling away in this game. Just racing away like a finely tuned Ferrari. And Yaka seem to have no answer here for the team in white. And all of a sudden Yaka's heads really do seem to be down now. Trying to keep themselves motivated, trying to keep themselves pumped, keep themselves hyped. It doesn't seem to be working so far. You get the feeling if they can just put 1 point in, get the chance to set something up on defence, this game could change. But all credit to the Italians, they are not giving them even a sniff of that so far. They've been ruthless on punishing any turnovers and very effective at generating the turnovers in the first place. Really comprehensive and complete performance so far from this Italian side. Yaka ready for the ball. Let the ball hit the ground and they're going to centre it. Wind beginning to pick up now. Going towards the camera and slightly against the French side here as well. To work slightly upwind. And this is what Italy want, pinning them on that, to go and pin them towards that sideline. I'm Yaka, I'm desperately trying to swing it towards that high side. Maybe set up a deep look from there, give yourself space to work with. That's a little lefty backhand up the line. Then threading the backhand through, squeezing it in there. Acton's got it again. Beckons for the little underpass and does take it a second attempt. And gets it on the move, trying to get a bit of give go. Nice bid going down to the ground to secure that catch there, number 9. And the defender read the play well, saw 68 in the space, and the thrower just took a bit too long to locate and isolate her. Italian player did a great job of recognising that, scything through for the D. The Italians are going to launch this deep here, it's slightly blading backhand, and it's another goal for the Italians! 29 is probably going to be your MVP. I think she scored over half the Italian team's points here, which are rapidly mounting. They're so devastating on the turn. Just brutally rapid, just brutally fast. Never giving the French side a chance to try and recover their breath here. This might be about as a dominant performance as you'll see all weekend. I'm going to get a second look at this now. There's that inside flick to get the play started. And then immediately with the defender a couple of steps behind, no mark, able to break that mark with the around backhand into the end zone, baiting back in towards the receiver. Nice use of that outside in edge on the throw. The Italians are absolutely dominating this game. 7 points to 0 now. This has got to be devastating. This is clearly not what Yaka had in mind here. And we're only 20 minutes into the game. Italians ready to pull. Yaka put their hands up, signaling they are ready to receive it. Good pull as well. That's going to sit towards the sideline, and it might blade out of bounds, and it does eventually tail off past that far sideline. Italians pulling has generally been very good today, but they get the disc at the brick mark, keeping in another zone look, which is no surprise given it's been so effective so far. It's a little movement to get the play started. Launching it deep, number 81's got behind the defender, and it's off her hands. That's got to be agonising for the French team. Good look there, found the space and found the receiver free behind the deepest player. It just comes off her hand, not quite able to make that catch. It's a lovely put there from 18. You see the torque she gets on that. Yeah, it's just as she's turning round that she goes to catch it, and maybe she just loses sight of it at the last crucial moment. Really disappointing, but you've got good field position here. They've set up a zone of their own, which I think is a good call. Try and slow the Italians down, generate a short field turnover here. Letting you have these little handlers loose with that 3-woman wall at the front. You've got a couple of defenders in behind, and then 52 staying right deep. It's a good call by the Italians to send that other offender right there. Don't let that deep get involved with the play here at all. The Italians so far seem pretty comfortable just popping it around the back, playing a little give go, like having a little throw around. Nice grab. I had to get low to save that one, did number 97. Well done. Well, swings around the back, and that's what they were hoping for. Just a simple missed throw. Too much blade on it. Didn't get quite the right arc. It's going to hit the ground harmlessly. Yaka now with maybe the best field position they've had all game on that far sideline. Got a person look now from the Italians this close to the end zone, beyond the brick mark. It's a nice swing in towards the centre. Got the disc on the break side, but there's nothing quite there. Good coverage from the Italians. Getting that forehand onto the open side and immediately dishing it back in the hands of your main handler, number 18. She's been devastated with the disc, and that's a lovely inside break. Siding through the defender, so precise. Bisecting the defenders there. And finally, Yaka have probably what they've deserved, a point that they more than deserve. Done a lot of good stuff all game, but just haven't been able to get things done at the important moments. Lovely work there, though. Good choice to transition to the zone on after the turn on offense. Proved dividends, and they've got their first point on the ball, and they've cut the gap to 7-1. Here we see that reset over to the handler side. The mark slightly off, comes more towards this backhand side, and that allows that devastating inside shot underneath the force's hand. The player wide open, the defender sitting too much on the open side perhaps, closing the gap to 7-1, but it's still a huge lead here for the Italians. Yaka now with their first defensive point in the game, and the Italians starting out on 0 for the first time. We had a chance to see their full O-line in effect, and they turn over on the first pass. Just a turfed pass, just perhaps a bit rusty from not being able to get their O-line out there as they wanted, not being able to set things up. Yaka will strike immediately, getting free on the open side. And hello, do we have a twist in this game? Only halfway through, there is plenty of time still to come. And all of a sudden, Yaka looked like they flipped a switch somewhere. They've pulled something from out proverbial rabbit from out of a hat. They found an extra gear which they didn't seem to have. And while they've still got a long way to go, this bodes well for the rest of the game from their perspective, closing it to 7-2 to Italy at the moment. It's a beautiful day here in Bruges for Tom's Tourny 25. It's a huge achievement running a tournament for 25 years. To put in perspective, that's if they've run in this tournament longer than I've been alive, which is amazing to think of, and they do such a fantastic job here as the play restarts. Number 20 catching the ball for Italy. Yaka going back to that zone note, which proved effective last time they came out on D. I like this move a lot. Zones have frustrated both sides here. So they just got to that high side. It's a lovely throw from 97, beyond the reach of the defender in the area. Just the arc took it around her, and she was never able to get there. Lovely trajectory on that disc because they got it now on this near side of them with Fragapane. Just gets sent into reaching. And now goes towards that far sideline. Happy to swing it around the back and gain some yards while they're doing it as well. Smart offense from the Italians. Now getting the handler, number 5, down the line. Oh, she falls over but resets her feet. Decision's okay. We had a couple of problems with people slipping over in earlier games. You can see the field's dried up now, and that's not so much of a problem. High release backhand, that's a nice, well-executed dump throw. Excellent bid on the swing, but I think she ground strips herself on. She lands. Just had it in there, but wasn't fully secured before she landed. It's sadly going to bounce out. Nice bid to try and save the play, though. Just didn't have quite enough on it, unfortunately. The Italians going to a personal look off the turn here. Katie with the disc, looking to the swing, and she's got 52 to take it. Italians poaching the swing on this near side. Yaka also happy to use it. Backhand goes down the line, but it's too far for the receiver. She'd never really had a chance of getting that, unfortunately. Didn't sit how she wanted. Italy will get the disc back here, but they're right on their front end zone currently. They've got to go the full 70 with Yaka the chance to set up, and they sent it immediately into the middle, trying to get it off this near windy sideline. Nice around backhand. Number 5's got it there, and she's got a person straight in front of her, number 20 as well. Just a swing. Fragapane's got some space on this sideline. She uses it. Nice high release backhand beyond the defence. Splitting the mediums with that deep. Number 18 finding a lovely pocket there. Getting it up line. That big fake into this near side corner. Oh, another little IO shot. That's a great heads up play by number 7. Whether she or not she was the intended receiver, I don't know. But she read the eyes of the thrower, saw what she was looking for, attacked that disc for Italians to get back on the board. Re-establish that 6-point cushion, 8-2 now to the Italian side. You can see this again, there's that flick down the sideline. Fragapane faking that backhand. And again, rifling that IO flick through. Putting it to the break side, knowing the defenders were sitting perhaps a bit too far on this open side. The receiver catching it comfortably. If you're Yaka, you're back on offense, but you know now that you've shown that you can score and you can generate turns if you do have to play defense. So their heads probably a bit higher now than they were earlier in this game. 23's got the disc in the centre of the pitch now. Get it back again as the wind begins to kick up again, forcing it towards this near sideline. Intense goal, she's going to just pop it down the sideline for now. There's a window to get that blade down the sideline. That's a lovely throw. slight bit of feather on that flick, just sitting there. Anyone able to reel it in. And then boosting that backhand into the end zone for the goal. Finding the window, bisecting the defence. Carving it open with a lovely throw. That was great zone offence there from the French side. Yaka showing that they really can do it if their heads are in the right place. Lovely point there. They've reduced the gap to 8-3. Going to get a look at this lovely flick down the sideline. Starts out of bounds and then trails back inside. The receiver's got it in plenty of space. A really nice throw in here. The backhand towards that flick side, knowing the force, knowing where the force is, giving you the chance to hit that IO break, squeezing it in there. Not a huge window there. She made that throw look really easy, but trust me, it definitely is not. That's a good decision, really well executed as well. This game hits the half-hour mark. Reminder that games today are to 50 minutes, so we're just over halfway. 5 points is a big margin, but it is not unstable. It's not stable even, especially when you consider that the 6-0 run that Italy had to start this game. Especially consider the 6-0 run that Italy had to start this game. It would not surprise me if Yaka were able to do the similar thing later. Paul Gazav's going to be caught just shy of the end zone. And 97's got the disc now. There's space on this near side if she can get it over the cup, instead choosing to go through at number 30, crashing around. And then that nice flick, lefty flick down the sideline. Centering it to number 7. 80's going to squeeze it through. Can it be caught in the back of the end zone? It's just too far. Never quite slowed up enough for the receiver to reel it in. That's unfortunate. They'd done so well up until that point. Just couldn't make the play at the very end. Going to get a second look at this. It's just out the back line. Would have taken a Herculean effort to get that back in play. Yaka will bring it to the front here for a chance to get another break. And they'll take the little swing. Moving it all the way onto this near sideline. The wind subsiding a bit here now. And seem to be moving it around pretty comfortably at the moment. Nice little scything blade through. The deep's been brought up and there's no one there. All she needs to do is to float the backhand into the end zone. 93 is wide open for the score. Yaka do get another break back. It's 8-4 now. This is one of the advantages of playing zone, is that, especially if you're at the back end, all it takes is one slightly miscalculated decision. All of a sudden you've got players wide open. The D came up to try and get a defense, to try and get a D on that blade. Wasn't able to do it, and it left it out of position. And that meant that there were receivers streaking deep. Number 93 was the more than obliging recipient of that deep shot there. Yaka beginning to get their legs under them a bit more now. They still trail by 4 points, but that is not the margin that it once was. Yaka talking some final things through, deciding how they're going to set up on this defense. It would not surprise me to see them take that 3-3-1 style zone again. The wind begins to pick up and push it towards this near sideline. This is going to float and sit for a bit. That's a good pull. Yaka almost there immediately. It's got 4 up front, 2 mids, and then 1 as a deep. 3 in close, 1 slightly further off. Using some sort of cup or junk zone, depending on your choice of terminology. Every time's able to comfortably swing around it, get off to the races here, play a bit of jailbreak here. The throw is low and it's not going to get to the receiver. She was open, but it just never seemed to have the right flight path out of her hand. Harmlessly hits the floor. Poacher comes off the sag into that lane, and number 18 does an excellent job of finding that IO lane, getting it to the front of Stack, who was wide open. She's going to take the reset. She fakes the IO again. It was so effective to get this play started. Nice simple pass to the open side. There's an open under there, and she takes it. On the sideline near the end zone there, windows rapidly closing. Takes the reset, good low grab. Scooping it up before it can hit the turf. Nice dump swing offense all the way into the end zone. That is absolutely textbook. That's exactly what you teach. If you get the disc on one sideline, nothing upfield, dump it off, swinging around and throwing that continuation cut, knowing and trusting that the receiver's going to be there. Get them open at the front of the end zone for the score. Yaka closing the gap here. We have a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. 8-5 now. This gap is rapidly closing. And it looks like the Italian team are calling a timeout here. I think it's a good decision. Yaka are in the ascendancy at the moment. Just try and take the wind out of their sails. Try and deflate them a bit. Not let them really get rolling. Because you know that we've seen that they can be a dangerous team when they're on the roll. If you're this Italian team, you know what you can do when you're at full strength, when you've really got your head in there. We saw that when they came out with a 6-0 run to start the game. Part of that was the fact that Yaka seemed to almost implode off the start. You could never really get any momentum, and obviously now they do. Now they have kind of found their way in this game a bit more. But you know that you can generate turns. You know that you can be very effective striking quickly off the turn as well. Utilise deep shots. It's important not to lose focus and know that you can still do this if you're Italians. And if you're Yaka, so that you've been closing the gap rapidly already, you can continue to close this gap here. We're live here at Tom's Tourney in Bruges. Beautiful Belgian skies here. Live coverage here of this women's game between the Italian women's team and the French club side, Yaka. The Italians 8-5 up. Yaka here will pull to the Italian side. Italians swing around the back as Yaka come out in that zone. Look, there's 3 flat defenders at the front trying to force those lateral passes. Not let the upfield movement go. Putting a flick through there. It might go over the defender. It's going to be a bit of sky ball. Nice catch there by number 52. Looked like maybe she'd got a bit too far under it to start with, but adjusted well. Go and get up high and make the grab. It looks like a travel called on the subsequent throw off though. Maybe didn't have her feet set. Maybe tried to move a bit too quickly afterwards. We're going to get a second look at this D now. Goes up nice and early, plugs it before the defender really has a chance at it. Play's restarted now. Italians made the decision to post off that hand, to poach off the swing to try and clog the lane. And Yaka happy to take the option that they give them. Now forehand's going to float, using a bit of the size mismatch there. A stoppage may be a cool foul call, perhaps a bit too, perhaps a bit bumping, bit physical on that, when they were contesting that catch. Yaka will bring the disc in again here. Choose to reset the play. No, don't like what they see downfield. Again, looking off these undercuts. Storkamp beginning to rise. Nice little handler movement through. 93's got steps. She's way free deep, and she's going to catch that in. And they're going to go continue play a little home boy, little home girl, do some jailbreak here, and work that backhand down the line for the goal. It's another break for Yaka. This is going to be a close, tense finish. It's only 8-6 now. After going 6-0 down to start this game, they've gone on a 6-2 run of their own here. This is tense, and you really get the feeling this could go either way now. Gonna get a little look at those. Yaka playing the give go there, running the gauntlet. Calmly and coolly pivoting out, finding the receiver in the back of the goal, in back of the end zone for the goal. Yaka getting ready to play some defense. Easily send out the no line. It's going to be number 18 for Yaka to make the ball. She's been instrumental in their comeback so far already this game. Good pull as well towards their end zone, and Isley not able to gather it cleanly. Starting in a vertical look, but quickly transitioning out of it when they realised that French side again with the zone again. Nice high release backhand over the head of the defender. And already they're beyond midfield, but don't like what they see downfield. Going to work this around the back for a bit. And they do have that swing open. Transition to that person one-on-one defence now from the French side. High release left backhand is just not going to go. It was too far for one receiver and not far enough for the other. Maybe caught in two minds about who she wanted to get it to. Maybe just rushed it slightly. Yaka should start the play by swinging this into the middle and continue it towards this near sideline. Come out in a person at this time from the Italian side. Nice flick down the sideline just beyond the reach of Francopane, the defender. But there's a call, possibly a travel. Wait for the players to get back into the position where they were before the throw happened. Just will be rechecked in here. And play restarts. Nice reset. The throw begins to die, but number 18 does very well to go to ground to reel that in as the wind once again begins to pick up. A bit unpredictable here. And that throw is incomplete. Just can't quite bring that in. Nice throw underneath. Thinks about the deep, doesn't take it. Instead gets the player streaking through from behind, number 29. And the Italians push through and they reset so they can get a chance to set up their end zone offense here. Just beyond the brick mark. Looking for a break shot. The throw was overthrown to the pass on the open side though. The cutter looks disappointed, but I don't think you can put that on her. I think the throw was just a bit too far. Italians come out with that matchup look again. Force is broken nicely with that round lefty flick towards the sideline, that far sideline even. Flies the receiver underneath. Number 9's got it here just beyond halfway. And they're moving forward now beyond the brick mark in that last quarter of the field. Yaka both teams in fact have had some struggles in the red zone so far today. And huge bid, lands just short. Mark is out of position, is going to utilise that to get it towards the break side. Tries going to sit in front, tries to milk that into the end zone, but not quite there, and instead from the doorstep, a little frosty flick into the end zone for the score. It's only a 1-point deficit now. All of a sudden from being 6-0 down, Yaka have brought it back to 8-7. My word, what an absolute classic we have here for you today. We see there just the tiniest of shoulder shimmies from the handler. Just bringing that mark the necessarily couple of steps over towards the break side. Creating a slightly larger window for that forehand into the end zone. Time closing down now. We could be on for our first sudden death finish of the day here. If you're the Italians, you've got to think about how you started this game, what a role you're on, and try and see if you can get back to that here. I don't know where it is. Oh. You can call me. Our plays in the background, signalling we've only got 5 minutes left in this game. Do not go anywhere. This is going to be one hell of a finish. Ball goes out of bounds. Number 12 leaves it. She's going to let 97 bring it in from the brick mark. Not a bad decision. Get the handler you want to be your middle handler. Take that disc immediately. And she's going to swing it towards the sideline. And she just turfs the throw. Maybe just a bit lackadaisical with that. Yaka can break and tie the game here. Going to send that backhand over the top towards the side of the end zone. Oh, the receiver did get a hand on it. Perhaps she wasn't quite expecting it to drop when it did. Maybe she heard the sound of footsteps from the defender coming from that weak side. Either way, she can't snatch it in. Number 12 walking to the front of the end zone here. Fakes that big backhand, trying to get those defenders to split apart, but they don't, and in the end she decides to take the swing instead. Still playing within their own end zone here, the Italians. We're interested to see how long they can keep this patience. And they do put it deep there. It's going to go over number 90's head, well positioned from the receiver, number 18. Read that really well. But that throw is not on target. The French defence will gladly gobble that up, looking for a chance to tie here. Rachel's going to put that deep. This is going to be tight. Bit of an aerial ball. Goes over both players' heads, but is well read by the French receiver with a 0 on her back. Turning from 0 to hero there. All of a sudden, from seemingly out of nowhere, it's a tied game. It's 8-all here. Well, when the French took a 6-0 lead, I did not think we would be in this position with a couple of minutes left. We've got that throw here. It's going to go over the heads of both the defender and the receiver, which is able to turn her body around, get a nice read of it. And the really difficult thing is to try and track the disc as it's going over your head, but she does a very good job, and as soon as she can see it come back into her field of vision in front of her, snatch that up with both hands. Excellent job there. It's a lot more difficult than it looks. Checks her feet, finds that she's in bounds, and all of a sudden, we've got a tied game. 0-0. It may as well be 0-0. It's 8-all. I did not think we would have this half an hour ago, but all credit to the French side. Their mental strength is incredible to battle back from that deficit. For all the skill involved, Frisbee there's a huge mental aspect to it involved as well. And the French side seem like they have mastered that at the moment. We'd love to see where this game's going to go in the last few minutes. Italians catching the ball, looking to move it quickly. Yaka come out in that zone again, and that throw is just off target. It had enough sit on it, but it was too far away. Maybe in perhaps a slightly brighter frame of mind, he could have seen a bid there, but the Italians look almost a bit defeated now. Maybe I spoke too soon. The defender on the force is not having any of that. They're determined to get the disc back. They're picking up on their own end zone line here. Looking to swing it around the back. Happy to lose lose yards in order to reset the stall count. Once again, it is rising. There's a mark free on the sideline and another block, but that does not look good as the defender has gone down there. Can't quite see what happened from this vantage point. I need to get a look at that. French player summoning for water and ice on this sideline. That looked nasty. Hopefully she's okay. It's not exactly how they need to block the disc. Unfortunately catching it in the face, and that is incredibly painful. If you've never had it, I cannot recommend it. Both sides circling around the player as the hooter goes to signal that time is up. Whatever happens here, this will be the last point. Tied as it is at 8-all. French player being tended to on the sideline. Should be happy that she got the deal. They're perhaps not quite so happy that she got it like that. Someone has managed to salvage some ice. See coming onto the pitch, which is good. Both sides trying to get the play reset. Yaka bring it in on that front cone, breaking around for the backhand, towing the line for the score and the win. A bit of confusion on the pitch about whether the game is over. I believe it should be. We'll see what both teams agree to. Looks like the sides are making their way onto the pitch to signal that yes, that is the end of the game. Would you believe it? From miles behind, Yaka have raced home down the final straight. And they've stolen a 9-8 win here over the Italians. I'll be honest, I did not necessarily see that coming, especially at 6-0 down. I thought this game was all but over. But credit to the French side there. They have done fantastically well to have an excellent comeback and take the win here, 9-8 in this really tight game. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have, as we see the replay of this last point over here. Checking the disc back in, coming up from that front cone and getting that backhand down the line. The receiver number 9 towing the sideline for the point and the win. That's it there, yeah, definitely inbounds. There's no question about that. Nicely done from the French side. Just the mental fortitude and mental strength is incredible. This is a game that we'll be talking about for a while. Thank you so much for watching. Do stay tuned because we've got plenty more action coming up from Tourny later today. Don't go anywhere.